Hello, I am the Restless Kaiser.
And I'm me.
Pleased to meet you, me.
All right.
And we are
modelling
for advantage.
Something like that.
Yeah, that didn't go very well, did it, John?
It's fine.
It's fine. Okay, so modelling for advantage then. This is one of the key ideas behind the channel. Is we're going to talk about some of the modelling that we've been doing. Modelling for advantage, John. Then what does it mean?
It means you making me do lots and lots of work. That's what it means.
So essentially, I'm a bit more of a gamer and a mediocre painter, and John's a bit more of a modeler, and not quite as good a painter as he thinks he is. So what I do is I have persuaded John to look at some of the models that I would like to have, but don't particularly like the model that's available. So I think today we're going to take a look at Ragnar Blackmane.
Yeah, Ragnar.
Ragnar.
From the old Wolves.
From the old Wolves.
One of the models that you absolutely detest.
I've got to say, the model that's currently... How old is that model? Do you know, John?
Old.
You've been in there.
Old.
He's full on, like, derpy.
I think it came out just before the second edition, so we're talking, like...
Late 80s.
Late 80s.
And it's the same model.
It's the same model.
I mean, he's in that sort of almost two-dimensional pose, isn't he? Which I think is a limit on the model making.
Possibly. I mean, I think they crammed in a lot of detail for it, considering back then.
Considering the age.
I love the model.
You like the original model?
Because I'm a mug.
You're a mug. You are in love with old, terrible models. Something we may look at in the future is John spends a lot of time and money in making terrible old models look beautiful.
Terrible. Like, really bad.
Really
monopose. I love monopose. Anyways,
so
that's off the point. Ragnar, why did you turn around and say to me, considering not only do we model for advantage, but you certainly game for advantage, why did you choose Ragnar Blackmane?
I guess I like the character, and I like what the character brings to a list. So, you know, I think I just wanted to start thinking, because my collection has reached that point, really. I don't need any more vanilla stuff with my wolves. Then you start looking at the kind of unique areas.
I think maybe the wife would suggest that maybe you don't need any more of anything to
when it comes to modelling.
That, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, I've got the various different...
So you got the luxury of just messing about with some of the other profiles and bits and bobs. Okay.
Yeah, and so I looked at the range of models that was available. I'm currently in thought that some of these look good, some of these don't look good. And I have to say, as someone who's very recently got back into Warhammer, I mean, I haven't played anything from first edition right through to the current 8th edition. I played nothing in between. Played Warhammer as a boy, did historical gaming and role-playing, and only in 8th edition did I come back to it. So I don't have this kind of legacy collection that a lot of people have, and it looks to me like spending money on tactical marines and mini marines might not be such a good idea at this point.
Well, as we've discussed before, and I think you might be right, the age of the tactical marine is coming to a close with you know, the release of, what the hell are they called again?
The Primaris Marines. Primaris Marines. Bigger, better, faster.
Stronger, harder, faster, whatever.
Or more importantly, an extra wound, an extra attack for a couple of points more.
Yeah, and if you really like to take advantage of stats and gaming, then you'll use them.
Absolutely. I have to say, though, they're a lot easier to paint. I think they're nice models.
I really didn't want to like them, but the more I see the Primaris stuff, I do quite like them. Especially the infiltrators that they brought out recently, the Phobos stuff.
Oh, yeah, the commando dudes. Yeah.
What was that? Completely off topic. Shadow Spear.
Yeah.
That was good. There may be some videos floating around of this man here.
Yeah. On a playlist elsewhere in the channel, in fact. So anyways, I looked at Ragnar, I looked at the model, I looked at the stat profile, and thought, this guy's an interesting character. After what they did to Primanius, or Manius Calgar, and they upgraded Primanius.
Yes.
Primarius.
Primanius.
You see, I was in the camp that wanted him to become a dreadnought. I wanted Manius Calgar in a box.
I love that. But instead of normal dreadnought power fists, like
proper,
even
like
oversized, like massive ones with heavy bolts.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I wanted out of that story, and that's not what we got. But I thought probably many of the, you know, which ones will they upgrade first? think the ones that are really iconic characters within the narrative that have terrible old models. And I looked at Ragnar Blackmane and thought, he's got to be pretty high on the list for that upgrade.
Not yet, anyways.
Well, no, but they're
time.
drip feeding us the primary stuff, aren't
Yes,
they? You got to keep the cash flowing.
Anyways, you said it was the stats and the character Ragnar himself that made you want him. So, I mean, can you tell me anything? Because I'm not too familiar with the stats and everything of the current edition for the Wolves, or Wolves in general for that matter. Can you enlighten me as to what?
Shall we have a look? While we'll make sure you can see some stills of Ragnar, and I will have a look at the stats.
When you say stills of Ragnar, do you mean the classic or the one that I have modelled?
Well, I think both.
Which, ladies and gentlemen, is in front of us. But you're not going to see it until we get to the stills, because it's not going to focus.
So,
tell me about him.
So, Ragnar Blackmane, he is the Space Wolf equivalent of a Space Marine captain. So, he is a Jarl of Fenris. He has the Belt of Ross, which gives him a 4-up invulnerable save, just like any other captain.
That's right.
He rerolls 1s for friendly wolves within 6, like any other Space Marine captain. He has 2 doggies with him. And they're actually quite dangerous, because they kick out quite a few extra attacks. And he can use them as bullet shields for himself.
Are they just standard Fenrisian wolves, or are they something special? Are
they have a few extra attacks.
Nice.
But what they do with separate models is they allow him to extend. They have the character rule too, but that means his bubble of influence has become quite a bit larger, I think.
Okay,
so like the 6-inch reroll,
the unit.
But also the unit, I think, can heroically intervene. So if you have a dog on one side and a dog on the other side and him in the middle, and you've got that 6-inch heroic intervention bubble,
massive
Ragnar's unit might have quite a big net about him. Yeah, I don't know whether that's quite how it works, but that's kind of at first glancing. And what's unique about him is these 2 dogs and how not so much from the catching the wounds, but are they going to allow me to use some of his more powerful abilities?
Right. Okay.
And he's got the War Howl, which allows you to reroll charges for friendly wolves, and that's not nothing. So the big problem I have with Space Wolves is they're very good in the assault, and I think they're a lot better in the assault than a lot of people give them credit for.
I think that's
The +1 to hit means you can take hammers and power fists everywhere and reliably hit with them.
You have proved that in many games to me. Yeah.
But if your enemy does not contest the middle ground, you are too slow. That is the real problem with the foot slogging. Okay. You don't have any of those super. So re-rolling charges, you got some long charges in there. Yeah. His stat line is unremarkable. It's pretty much identical to another Wolf Lord. 6-inch move, 2 hitting, 2 shooting, strength 4, toughness 4, wounds 5. And his sword is +1 AP -4 and 2 damage, which is alright, but if you had a Thunder Hammer, it'd hit on 2s and do 3 damage because of that +1 to hit.
Yeah, I mean, you've got an additional -1, have you? But does that really come into play?
Well, most things are going to have an invuln dangerous to it.
Oh, right, yeah, true.
So the AP is not the big deal that it could otherwise be. But it's those other things. So I looked at this model for the kind of reasons we've talked about.
Okay.
So I'd like to have this model, but I'd like to have this character, but I don't want this model. So I approached you, John, as a modeler, and said, John, make me something beautiful.
And thus came the challenge. We've used nothing like crazy on this model. The only sort of strange part, you could call it, is you'll need a piece of brass rod at 1.8. Yeah, at 1.8 millimeter thickness, and that's only because we had to do some shenanigans with the head, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, in a second. So most of the components that you can see on these steels are from the normal Space Wolf kit. I believe it's
a good part of this came out of the
Grey Hunters, or
I think they sell it as it's called a Wolf Pack.
Wolf Pack, okay.
The Wolf Pack, but and the Blood Claw Pack is the same. It's basically the Space Wolf Tactical Marine kit.
Right. Okay, so yeah, I mean, we just had a little sift through.
Yeah.
I tried to pick components that sort of looked like the current model. So Ragnar, the previous the model that Mr. M hates, has Mark 6 greaves, so I went for that. Slightly ornate. It's not so bad. You mostly see them on the picture here. And we gave him a nice wolf belt with a double-headed wolf.
And that's the kind of clip-on wrestling belt.
That's the clip-on wrestling belt, yeah.
Yeah, I love the wrestling belt thing.
I think they're awesome, the hero belts for the wolves.
Absolutely.
It brings a lot of character to them. So we chose those components. One of the things that you said to me was, you only get one wolf cloak in that kit. And I know there's a second option via the upgrade kit, is it? The upgrade
the Space Wolf upgrade sprue.
Which is a wolf pelt cloak.
But it's very similar, but faces the other way.
Exactly right. But you weren't too keen on that, so you were like, okay, right, well, let's mix it
There's
up a bit.
already a lot of them in my army.
Well, that's what you said, yeah. It's like, and only having two options is not ideal if you want a bit of character. So, what was it you bought? You bought a... What's this from?
It's the Space Marine Commander sprue, which comes in the start collecting Space Wolves, actually. It's the old Commander sprue. I'm not even sure you can buy it any other way.
I'm not sure either now. It used to be a single miniature in a box by itself at one point. Yeah,
so it's like a two-part sprue, and it's got a Stormbolter and a Combi Bolter, and a Power Sword and a few other bit icons and so forth. And charms, so that's the right word.
There is a very slim chance that you at home may be looking at the still of that now. Or not. We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. Depends if we can find one.
The backpack is the wolf head backpack, which is from, you need to enlighten me on
this
that
Space
as well.
Wolf upgrade
That's
sprue.
Just the upgrade
That's
sprue.
on the upgrade sprue, yeah.
The head, I think, is from the wolf pack. It's not the one.
Might also be from the upgrade sprue.
Yeah, that is the upgrade sprue one.
There was one that looked a bit more like Ragnar, we felt, but his head didn't fit right.
That's the thing.
With the pose.
Now, the position that he's in, he's sort of, well, you can see he's stepping forward. He's just about to enter combat. He's got his pistol drawn, and he's just moving up quite happily. However, the original head we were going to use, the ponytail, which was moulded into the model, was to the left of the head. So as you're looking at it, it would be to your right, and it conflicted with the backpack and the shoulder pads. So I just couldn't use it. I could have chopped it off and repositioned it. No, that's a lie. I couldn't, because the way this one is moulded is it flows and actually melds in with the side of his head.
Yeah.
So it was a bit too much of a chore. So second best option was this upgrade head, which kind of captures Ragnar a little bit, you know, flowing locks, but it didn't have the top knot.
No, you've added the top knot.
I had to add the top knot and position it to flow over his shoulder, and that's where the little bit of brass rod came in. I've pinned that with just a paper clip. It's obviously a hollow tube, so the paper clip runs through the piece of brass rod and connects with the little ponytail, which is off of another head, I believe.
One of the many Space Wolf heads.
Exactly right, one of the many. Choose one, pick one. Michael has not painted the top knot bit, so you can't actually distinguish. It just looks like he's got, you know, a bit of a ponytail. But
I did paint it gold, and he looked like he'd just been to Claire's Accessories, and I wasn't happy about that.
No.
And so I painted it. I know it's not his hair, it's some kind of jewellery holding it up.
What about
but
brown?
He looked a bit too much
red?
glitter girls, you know. It wasn't the look I was going for.
I hope you've still got a picture of that somewhere. What's next? I mean,
the sword.
The sword. Now that's from the upgrade pack, isn't it?
It is, but it's almost identical to the one on the model.
The Spyhander.
Yeah,
it is indeed.
It's a big old sword. Big old sword. Yeah.
I like that one.
The bolt pistol was just a normal bolt pistol. Well, from the Space Wolf.
Yeah.
Normal sprue. Same with the shoulder pads, left and right. Actually, the wolf head shoulder pads might be from the Thunderwolf. Yeah, because it's got a bigger wolf head. But certainly the part fur covered one is from the normal.
Now, yeah, I really did want to put a little bit more fur on him. The original model has quite.
He's got the pelt kind of over his shoulder, really,
hasn't he? He's got the paws coming down.
And the wolf's head built into the shoulder pads?
Yes, I think. Yeah. And I was looking to do that, but it was really a bit more modelling work than I think I could handle with that, to make it work and look realistic, as it were, as much as I can.
And to be clear, you were doing this for me?
Yeah.
So you were able to cut corners and things like that?
Yes, fortunately,
if you'd been doing it for yourself, you'd never finish it, would you?
You're quite happy. It would never get done. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with result, and I hope you are too.
I'm really pleased, yeah.
I magnetised the hands.
You did.
Pointlessly, it's because I've got a bit of a magnet thing going on at the moment.
A lot of a magnet thing.
Because I'm modelling for advantage.
He really is. He really is. He's realised that he can have all the weapon options.
And I can even swap them out mid-game, but don't tell the opponents. Plasma gun? Yeah, go on then.
So I think that's probably all I want to hear from now. We've got a few more Space Wolf characters to look at. Who's
next?
I think we'll go for the Chief Wizard himself.
Nigel
Nigel
the Storm
and his pet bird.
All right.
And then we've been looking at the Iron Priest. I think that model's just about coming together. So a few more of these to do on Space Wolf characters. So that was us from Modelling from Advantage, and we will see you next time.